The theme for this particular VHS update is going to be nothing but horror for a good majority of the pod. So, welcome back everybody. It's time for another one of these VHS updates that I'm going to do for you all. And looking right beside me, I got a bit of a stack here. It's a nice stack too. So a majority of the films I'm going to be going over is going to be horror, then some other stuff, and I will go into detail explaining the story of how I came across these VHSs that I'm looking at right now, and then I'll just showcase. I'm not going to really talk about or go into detail about the movie, blah 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 blah, just give like maybe quick summaries of certain deals, not go on and on forever. A while ago I actually did record this, but the video was good, but the problem was the lighting was shit. So now that the lighting is nice, hopefully that this video will be a lot better. Plus I got a lot more adding on to my stash. So I'm quite satisfied right now with what I got here. So let me showcase the VHSs for you all. Starting off with these three type of VHSs right here. Again, majority of them are going to be horror movies. And these three that I got here, I got them off of eBay for a good price of... shit, I don't even know. But I got two John Carpenters here and one Stanley Kubrick. And I think you know exactly what I'm talking about when I mention those names. It's going to be a dead giveaway. But let's get the Stanley Kubrick one out of the way. First we got here is The Shining. Jack Nicholson, one of his finest movies he's done. Shelley Duvall. I cannot pronounce the name really well. Based off a true inspiration of the hotel, and written by Stephen King. And Stanley Kubrick made a film of his own, and look what we got. A psychological horror piece. Next we got here is for the John Carpenters. I'll just show the two equally because, well, it's John Carpenter. We got a horror movie surrounding a car, and the other one surrounding a masked, deranged psychopath. We have John Carpenter's Christine, a movie about a car that is quite creepy, that will kill you. Then we got right here is Halloween, one of the all-time greats and one of John Carpenter's best, and definitely one, you can say Jamie Lee Curtis's best performance she's done. One of John Carpenter's finest pieces. But actually, both of them are two of his finest pieces. But between the two of what I think is more creative, it's hard to choose between the two because they're both quite divine for horror movies. Alright, next bundle we got here. I got a good selection. Actually, no. Before we get to that, let's get to the last one that I got off of eBay. The condition's a little bit bad due to the fact that there's a couple stains on the side, but you know what? The tape's in alright condition and surprisingly has a nice red part on it. I don't know what the hell it's called, but it's none other than a 5-time 1991 Academy Award winner, including Best Picture. That is none other than Silence of the Lambs. This film needs no introduction whatsoever. We all know about fucking Dr. Hannibal Lecter, Buffalo Bill, cannibalism, and a suspenseful plan to escape. The film itself is a freaking masterpiece. Anyone, you gotta check out Silence of the Lambs if you haven't. Alright, now let's get to this bundle that I was going to talk about. So on eBay, again, that's where I buy majority of my shit, minus thrift stores and flea markets. This bundle I'm going to show you all, I got this for about, I think around $40-some for this bundle. I got around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 10 of these VHSs that are vintage horror movies from the days of the 1930s, 40s, and actually a little bit of the 50s and one from the 1920s. So I'm going to show you all those. I'm just going to go right into detail showing them. First off, from that bundle of the vintage horror films, H.G. Wells' fantastic sensation of The Invisible Man. Guy who turns himself invisible, tries to think of ways to get himself back. This gem right here. We got you can say, a masterpiece of vampire perfection, and you can say the first ever vampire movie that was ever made. You can put it out there. That is none other than Nosferatu. Nosferatu. The original silent vampire himself. Count Orlok. Man who goes off on a journey. Meets the guy because he wants to sell him a house. Then he learns what this guy does. Yeah, Nosferatu. Next up is a film that came from the 50s, and this is a really fun one. This is Lucas's movie, because he's in this. And he is known as the creature from the Black Lagoon, 1950s right here. Terrifying monster ravages mankind. Richard Carlson and Julia Adams. Julia Adams was definitely a hot honey during that time period. So yeah, this is that piece right here. Fun monster movie. Next up I got here is a film that I've not really seen before, but I got this in the sense. Actually, there's a couple of these that I've not really seen before, but seeing the names alone really does bring my curiosity. One of the first ones that I got here is a film called Phantom of the Rue Morgue. I don't know much about this particular horror movie, but apparently it says men, passions, matter, deeds, and the Edgar Allan Poe chiller. So this is an adaptation from an Edgar Allan Poe poem. So that it's going to be interesting seeing this. I remember The Raven. Vincent Price was in that movie, and that was a highlight of a film. Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe brought to life. Let's get to the next two. These two I've seen before, so I'll showcase them hand in hand. We got Bela Lugosi, got his original and a sequel. You got Frankenstein here and The Bride of Frankenstein both together, where Dr. Frankenstein brings Boris Karloff, the guy who plays as the monster alone, himself a beautiful honey that he shall worship. And you got Frankenstein alone, where it's a monster trying to understand the way of life after the town fears this guy. So a lot of crazy things happen in this movie, and so does this one. So these films alone are two gems in the horror world. Next up is another movie I've never seen before, and just looking at the cover alone, oh god, the whole deal and the way of an octopus or a squid, I don't know what the hell it is. Yeah, this looks quite intriguing. That is a film known as It Came from Beneath the Sea. From the way it looks like it's a giant-ass octopus. I don't even know, because I've never seen this one either, so once I give this a watch, just have to wait and see what this sumbitch is going to be all about. I was expecting The Day the Earth stood still. That on VHS, that'll be interesting to have. And next one I got here, this is a Bela Lugosi picture right here, which I was quite surprised about getting. And that is none other than a movie known as Killer Bats, 1940 here, Bela Lugosi. Another one I've never seen before, so it's going to be interesting to see what this one's going to be like. Not a big cast, but it's got some characters in it. Next up, we got ourselves a Boris Karloff picture. That is none other than a man known as the Mummy. Mummy comes to life, tries to find love, along with scares. Film is a freaking gem to look at. Not those what the fuck was that guy's name? That one guy who played in those Mummy movies. Brendan Fraser. Yeah, those Mummy movies. Yeah, this is the real Mummy movie here. Next up is the last one I've not seen before, and this here is a Lionel Atwill picture, and that is none other than a film known as Vampire Bat. Another one I've never seen before, so same as the other ones I haven't seen. I'll just give them a watch and see what they are. Alright, next ones I got here are films that I received from a thrift store that I went to one day, and I managed to get myself a bundle and some good shit adding on to my stash. First off, we're going to add here is a Steven Spielberg film and a movie that was a 5 Academy Awards, including Best Director, 1998, Steven Spielberg, Matt Damon, Tom Hanks, Thomas Sizemore, and Edward Burns. None other than you can say is arguably known as the greatest war movie ever made, and that is none other than Saving Private Ryan. A film that will emotionally get to you. A film that is just unbelievable story. Incredible, incredible movie. Alright, next up we got here is a film that really needs no introduction. I know Brady Boo, he'll agree on this, and that is none other than Casablanca. We all know about this movie. I don't even need to explain anything. Next up, one of the greatest westerns that's ever been made. One of my all-time personal favorite directors, Paul Newman, plays in this. And he portrays in this film known as Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. One of the greatest westerns that's ever been made. Truly a remarkable story. Next up, speaking of remarkable, we have Matthew Broderick, Denzel Washington, Cary Elwes, and Morgan Freeman. That is none other than another great war movie called Glory. We all, just like with Saving Private Ryan, you can go down and say this is the greatest war movie ever made. It truly is a remarkable, beautiful picture, man. Really worth watching. Next up we got here, from people say this is a Christmas movie. To me, it is not a Christmas movie. This is one of those action films that really will have you on the edge of your seat. And that is none other than a movie called Die Hard. You can say this is Bruce Willis' best film minus Pulp Fiction. But this alone will have you on the edge of your seat. Outstanding action. Fun as hell movie to watch here. And last but certainly not least is a film that is incredible to look at. Vincent Perez, whatever his name is, Brandon Lee. Yeah, the movie alone. It's quite something after realizing the story that happened behind the scenes during this movie. But the film alone, after all that, it is a remarkable piece to look at, and that is none other than The Crow. City of Angels. Yeah, this movie itself is just a thriller to look at. I don't know what to say. So, hold up a second. This ain't The Crow alone. This is the sequel to The Crow. The Crow, City of Angels. I fucked up right there. So this is the sequel I picked up, not the actual Crow itself. So anyways, folks, that right there is my VHS update for you all. I hope you all enjoyed the showcase of all the horror movies, along with some additional VHS I picked up from eBay and the thrift store. And ciao for now.